As a new real estate photographer, you can completely mess up your business if you don't know how to shoot real estate photos the right way from the start. And the reason for that is if you go out and do a shoot for a real estate agent and you don't do a good job, that real estate agent is not going to refer you or speak well of you to other real estate agents. It is a small world, the real estate community. Agents are constantly doing business with each other, and that can be a great thing for you if you do a great job. The problem is if you do a bad job, it works against you because the negative spreads. And so in this video, I wanna show you some basic real estate photo mistakes that I see a lot of new real estate photographers doing that you can immediately stop doing if you just watch this video and put them into practice in your business. If you haven't started yet, awesome. If you've already started, make sure you're not making these mistakes so you can grow your business more quickly. So jumping into it with the first of 5 things, the most important thing you can possibly do in your real estate photos is have straight verticals. And this photo is an example of bad verticals. You can see here, this is a vertical line in the photo and it's not straight, right? There's less distance here than there is here to here. So we've gotten our tripod lifted way up and we're kind of shooting down in the room. Really common thing that new real estate photographers do. So all of these vertical lines in the image are not straight. You can tell here, I mean, that line goes significantly away from it. So it kind of makes the house look weird. And the deal is real estate agents a lot of times will not notice stuff that's wrong in your photos. They will notice straight verticals. And so make sure that you're shooting not up looking down into the room, but shooting straight into the room. Typically, that's gonna be a tripod height of about waist level, but it depends on how tall you are, obviously. So somewhere between your waist and the light switch level is great. You just don't wanna be too high and have that urge to point into the room. So make sure verticals are straight. Now, the second mistake I'm gonna go to, and you'll see in this photo, we've corrected the first mistake. So before I talk about the second mistake, that's what a straight vertical looks like. You can see the vertical lines are vertical in the photos. There's no angle or anything. So like, look at this door frame here, equal distance here and here. Verticals look really straight. Just to show you context again, leaning down in, not straight. The vertical lines are all leaning, it looks awful. So we nailed the verticals in this one, and that's where we made mistake number 2, which is the horizontals are off. So we call this shot an almost straight on at Norman & Young. There are really 2 shots that you wanna get when you're shooting real estate. You wanna have a perfectly straight on shot, which this one could have been, they messed it up a little bit, and I'll show you how to fix that, or a shot that is a full angle. So here's an angled shot, it's completely angled, or you wanna have a complete straight on, which I'll show you in a second, it's actually down there. So this one, they got the verticals right, but you can see this image is like tilted this way, and my guess is they were trying to catch the rest of this door frame, but it just kind of makes this like weird looking image, and it may be a little harder to tell like when you're watching a camera that's watching a screen, but if you look at this image on MLS, you're looking for houses, you're not gonna know what you don't like about it, you're just gonna know that something's weird. So either commit to the straight on or commit to the angle. So moving on to the next one. This is obviously a shot that was committed to the angle. And the third mistake is not having a wide enough field of view. Now I'll talk about the specifics and how to nail this in a second, but if there's one thing that's true about real estate agents and the type of photos they want you to capture the whole room. In fact, a lot of them probably want it to look bigger than it actually does. You don't wanna do that, but you don't wanna have too narrow of a shot. Now, one of the best ways that you can make sure your shots are wide enough and also show people what the room actually looks like is you can make sure there's always 3 walls in your photos. So in this photo, we only have 2 walls, right? Wall 1 and wall 2. Now I'm gonna go to a 3-wall shot of the same room, and I'm just gonna count this as 1 wall. So we have 1 wall, 2 wall, 3 walls, right? Even if you just catch a sliver of this 3rd wall, it first of all gives you a lot more perspective on how the room is actually laid out, which is the entire goal of real estate photos, but it just, you know what's all included and the shot looks really good. And so I'm not saying this isn't a good shot. I just would have moved it so you could see a 3rd wall a little bit, or honestly shot from over here back the other way. So in this photo, like this photo up right here, for example, it was taken from standing right about here. So that's where the photographer was shooting this way. If I already have one like this, I wanna see, like I still don't know what's over here in either of these photos, so I would pick an angle over there that shows the rest of the room. But the big key to keep in mind here is if you get 3 walls, that's gonna basically tell you that your photo was as wide as it could possibly go, and that'll make your photos look a lot better. So those are the 3 like biggest mistakes I see, and I do wanna point out something specifically on this photo and the 3 walls thing. There are a lot of different types of photography of buildings, right? We have standard real estate photography where we're taking pictures that an agent is gonna use to market the property on Zillow, on Realtor.com, across wherever they're marketing the property, right? That's very different than an interior designer who hires you to maybe take pictures of the staging in the house, or a builder that's gonna want more of like the detail shot showing the quality or just different things. So it's very important to not just box everything in real estate photography into one little box. There's real estate listing photography, there's architectural photography, lifestyle staging type photography, commercial. It's all for a different purpose. And so if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, they may even talk about how you want to do 2 walls. But you have to be very important. It's very important to keep in mind who you're actually talking to. It's like interior designers, they want a closer shot. You're probably not shooting for those. You're gonna wanna go wide for a real estate agent. So that's the first 3 mistakes. Straight verticals, make sure you don't shoot an almost straight on and get 3 walls. Now the next 2 mistakes are really often made, and there's something that will really help you take your photos to the next level. Quick pause, and I need your help with something. My job is to help more real estate photographers do this right from the start. So what I want you to do is take a photo of this, share it on your story, and tag me, and I'm gonna repost as many of those stories as possible. But what I want you to share is your biggest takeaway, or one of the 5 tips that stuck out to you the most that you may have missed. Mistake number 4 is not using an editor. If you are editing your own real estate photos, you are not only, number 1, wasting a ton of time that you could use to get more clients and do stuff that actually moves your business forward. You're spending a lot of time in that evening editing photos. Like, that's your time to enjoy. And as you grow your real estate photography business, if you spend all your time editing, you're gonna grow to not like the industry, because you're gonna go shoot all day and come home and edit. So outsource your editing, save yourself a ton of time, use an editor. But the second thing is, your photos, if you edit them, are not gonna look like this. And it may be hard a little bit to see on the screen the quality of these, but look at these crystal clear window views. The colors are accurate, everything's awesome. And this photo was sent, we shot a bad one on purpose. We sent that to our editor that we currently use at Norman & Young and paid roughly 65 or 70 cents to have this photo edited. Clear windows, everything looks great. All we had to do was send them that 3 brackets that we shoot every photo with. So definitely, if you're not using an editor, you're making mistake number 4, which is one of the biggest ones that you can possibly make. And here's the truth of it too. Not only are they gonna be better, it takes so much time to learn how to edit. And so a lot of photographers are like, oh, I'm not ready to get paid by a client yet because I haven't learned to edit. I'm like, wait a second, just outsource the editing and you're ready. You can shoot those 3 brackets, you're good to go. So the next one is another big mistake. Don't overshoot. Now here's what you're gonna probably think. You're gonna say, Eli, I'm a new real estate photographer. When I'm going to listings, if I'm there and I'm shooting a big house and the agent only ordered 40 photos, I'm gonna shoot 80 because I wanna have every angle that they could possibly want. And there's a whole bunch of reasons I wanna encourage you not to do this, and I'm just gonna kind of list them off. Number 1 is if you deliver 80 photos, the agent doesn't wanna spend time trying to figure out the best 40 that they can actually list the house with. Most places have a limit on how many photos they can upload, and it's usually not 80. So they don't wanna have to spend time to reduce the photos. The second thing is, if you shoot 80 photos, you're gonna be optimizing for just getting every angle and not thinking about every angle. So rather than getting 40 awesome photos, you're gonna have shot 80 kind of okay photos, and the end photos that they pick are not gonna be great. The next thing is, if you shoot 80 photos, you have 2 options. You can send 80 photos to the editor and double your editing costs, or maybe you don't send all the photos to the editor, but you spend forever trying to pick your best 40 after. So there's a whole bunch of things downstream that are caused by overshooting. The biggest one long-term is if you get in the habit of overshooting now, it becomes a very, very hard habit to break in the future, and it costs your business a ton of time. I was talking to a person that just joined coaching at our forward level who has a great business doing 15+ K per month, and she spends so much time in her business. Every shoot she overshoots, and then she comes home at the end of the day, and because she shot 80 photos, it takes longer to transfer from the SD card to her computer, and then because she has 80 photos, she now has to spend even longer reducing the amount of photos before she sends to her editor. And she's like, Eli, I don't have any time, and that's why I joined coaching. And our first thing was like, well, we gotta get you to stop overshooting, because when you overshoot, everything downstream just takes way more time, and it's easy to be inefficient when you're first starting. But that's why I put this as a beginner mistake, because you don't want to build that muscle now of just overshooting. It gets really hard to break it in the future. So those are my 5 biggest rules. If you can do these 5 things at your very first photo shoot, the chances that your client likes the photos are going to be super high. If you use a good editor, your photos are going to look great. The windows are going to be good. If you didn't overshoot, you focus on specifically good angles, you're probably going to have the angles the agent wants. If you show as much of the room as you can, they're gonna be like, wow, these are awesome photos. And they're gonna tell you something silly like, you must have a nice camera, which obviously is the joke in the photographer world, because it's not the camera, it's how you use it. But either way, they're gonna like your photos. You're not gonna shoot these weird photos that they don't know how to describe, they don't like, and they're not gonna create the biggest mistake or do the biggest mistake of them all, which is have verticals that are not straight. So those are the 5, but I wanna show you an actual shoot that one of you submitted on Instagram. So shout out to you, Jacob, for submitting these. and I'm gonna go through. First of all, I will say this is kind of a little bit of a cheat code because Jacob's already in coaching and I think these photos are awesome. I'm just gonna go through them, and when you're watching me go through these, I want you to think if there's any of those mistakes you've seen. So this photo looks great to me, committed to the angle. That photo is good. This shows the backyard first, so I'll probably skip through some of these because we'll go on the interior. Nice straight on shot there, the front of the house. There's one with 2 walls. So in this one, if possible, we can't show this wall here, we're gonna have too much bed. So I would turn this a little bit, maybe cut the door off here and try to show the wall over here. There's probably a wall right here. I don't know, it looks like there's a window. So 2 walls in that one, not ideal. That's a decent photo, 3 walls, verticals are straight. Here's another 2-wall shot. So if we can, we wanna move a little bit to show the 3rd wall over here. I don't think there's one here. Kind of orient around the room a little bit. There's another one that's 2 walls. I mean, we kind of have like 1 wall here and 1 wall here. So maybe we could have moved a little bit this way, but who knows, that shot looks great. Let's see. There's one where we have just a sliver of the 3rd wall here. So to me, that's good because your brain kind of knows, hey, there is a 3rd wall there. It helps you when you're previewing the house. This is a good 3-wall shot right here. You can see, so we have 1 wall, 2 wall, and 3 wall. Photo looks good. Let's see if I can find any like big errors. Here's one. This is very nitpicky. And this is, I'm not gonna say this is an almost straight on. Like you did it straight on. There is a bigger gap here than here in the tile. So it's actually slightly panned this way, but overall it's close enough. It's not that awkward almost straight on I showed you. Another one in here, we only got 2 walls. This wall doesn't tell us anything about the room. So if we kind of cut the photo here maybe and show more of the wall over here, there's probably a wall here I'm guessing, but I just can't tell. That would get the 3 walls. Let's see if there's anything else that we wanna point out here. You nailed the verticals, so good job on that. No issues at all. I mean, some of them could be like, there's a difference between completely messing up the verticals and spending way too long to have them perfect. So like this one, this vertical is like maybe slightly off. It's hard to say, but it's like so close, it's not a problem. So overall, these photos are totally deliverable. At our business, I deliver these all day long. They look great, window views are good. And so this gives you an idea of what, for everybody watching your real estate photo shoots, should look like. Biggest thing for you, Jacob, specifically is to make sure you show 3 walls in every photo. I think that's the one mistake that you kind of made here, but this gives you an idea of what your real estate photos should look like on your very first or first few shoots. There's no reason that you need to be doing a lot of practicing. Like if you follow these 5 things, your photos will pretty much be professional from day one. Fun story from our REPP community. We had someone join, go through all the training, and they did their first shoot. And that first shoot, the builder whose house they shot for their first shoot requested those photos to be used in a magazine and requested permission. So this person literally did their, no joke, first photo shoot, and the builder wanted those photos to be used in a magazine. And I want that for you too, because like we said at the start of this video, if you do good, word spreads. If you do bad, word spreads. You don't want to be on this category where the bad is spreading. It's too small of a community. So make sure you nail your real estate photos right from the start. And speaking of that, that's exactly what we can help you do in coaching, is make sure that when word spreads about your business, it's in the right direction. So we want to show you and make sure and verify that your photos are good before you ever put them in front of a client. Let's teach you how to shoot them, hook you up with an editor, make sure your gear is good, everything like that. But also on the other side of the business, I talk about the Instagram method a lot. If you reach out to a ton of agents and you do it poorly, it's very hard for us to help you undo that. So that's another thing that we help you with in coaching. And I would argue the most important thing, right? We help you start the Instagram method properly from the start. So if you're serious, if this is something you want to make into a business, you don't just want to do 1 shoot a month, like you want to do this seriously, that's exactly who coaching is for. If you're at $0 a month or you have a business, we'd love to help you. You can click the link below to talk with my team. And they'll tell you what coaching specifically would look like for you, because every business is different. So whether you've just started and you have a bunch of goals that you know about or you don't, you want us to help you with that, we'd love to help you. So check out that link below and I'll see you in the next video.